my husband, when he bought the Bosch, heard about milling your own flour. And I thought at the time, why would I want to mill my own flour? I was interested in nutrition and helping us to feed our family better, but I did not realize that as long as the wheat berry is contained in the kernel, those 39 vitamins and minerals are preserved. In fact, they were able to find wheat in King Tut's tomb and sprout it and make bread out of it. It's preserved, and that's the way God has made it so perfectly. But once the wheat berry's been broken, made into flour, the wheat germ oil is released, and that's when the oxidization starts taking place. And within 7 to 8 hours after milling your flour into fresh ground flour, you've lost that nutrition. You still have the fiber, the bran, but you've lost the vitamins and minerals. This gives us a little picture of what I was talking about. You have the wheat berry, and all these things are the things that are inside our wheat. We have our bran, our midlands, wheat germ oil, and all of these are what gives us the great nutrition in the whole wheat. This little vial on the end is the white flour. What happened in 1930s, they found that when they removed all of these things, that their flour would stay on the shelf indefinitely without spoilage, which was a good thing for the marketer, the storekeeper, because now they had a great product that would stay on the shelf. The problem was as people started coming up with a beriberi disorder, intestinal disorder, a B vitamin deficiency. So at that point, they enriched our flour with 4 B vitamins back. And so now we have enriched white flour in our stores, and we think we're doing great. But we have lost the full 39 vitamins and minerals that were in that wheat. So that is one reason why you think, oh, I want to mill my own flour, because I'm getting the nutrition. Another reason why you'd want to mill your own flour is that when you mill your own flour, flour is sweet to taste. And so if you would think, like if I had a fresh carrot and I were to eat that carrot, it would taste sweet. Now I take that same carrot and I boil it, and then I'll say, here's the carrot, and you'll say, well, this is tasteless. There's nothing left in it because or taste left in it because there's no nutrition left in it. And that's, again, when you have fresh flour, it's sweet to taste. In fact, when I have my mill, this particular mill, the Nutri-Mill, which we'll talk about more in a second, does all your grains, all your beans. Beans if you're wanting to make like Ezekiel breads and other breads that might call for bean flour. But if I were to mill corn, and I actually use popcorn when I mill to make my cornmeal, I'll just throw the popcorn in here, it mills into fresh flour and corn flour, and then I'll make my cornbread recipe. If you were to take your same family cornbread recipe and use the Aunt Jemima cornmeal that you see in the store, and then use that same recipe with fresh ground cornmeal, it will be sweeter, it will have more corn flavor, and that is the example of why having fresh ground corn or flour in your baked goods will make them taste so much better. Not only are you getting the nutrition, but you're getting better baked goods. Another little hint concerning wheat, a lot of people will say, well, what's bread flour and all-purpose flour, and what's the difference? There is actually 2 types of wheat out there that you can make bread with. There's hard red winter wheat, and then there's hard white spring wheat. And I personally, with our family, use hard white spring wheat. The difference in those two is the red is a little more grain flavor, makes a little darker loaf, whereas the white will be a lighter, spongier loaf. Both of them are 100% whole wheat, and both of them have high gluten and do a great job making bread. The all-purpose flour that you see in the store is like soft wheat, pastry wheat, and that's for making cakes, cookies, pastries, and it does a great job. Again, it's 100% whole wheat. Not talking about the all-purpose flour you were getting off the shelf, but if I was to mill the soft wheat, that's what I would be doing. So those are the 3 types of grains out there for making baked goods. And again, red wheat or white wheat are what you want to use when you're making your bread.